So hello guys, the hobbyist here again, and in this time you're gonna be thinking that okay, why are we starting at the main Windows screen? So this is because from now I've decided to make another new kind of video that is on programming because recently I've joined college and many of my students out there were asking me that hey, how do you get started in competitive programming, or hey, which language do I get started with, or they teach us C in the syllabus, is it great for competitive programming or should I just learn some other language, blah blah blah. So yeah, in this video I'll be clarifying those things. So first, what is competitive programming? So to address that statement, think like you're studying some normal studies, maths, physics, chemistry, and all that school things, and you have your regular examinations on the school. So that is for the programming thing. Yeah, that is your normal college examinations. In the college, they'll be teaching C mostly. I think in our colleges. I don't know about other countries. In India, they teach C mostly. At least in my college, I don't know about other colleges. So they'll be teaching us C, and in the semester questions they'll be asking the questions based on C. But for getting jobs in the companies like Fang, Google, and all those companies, and yeah, in the school life also, if you wanted to get yourself placed in a very nice colleges, so yeah, you need to study out of the things that schools teach us. In the same way, in the colleges too, the things that they teach in the college are alone are not enough. The language, you need to acquire your own skills to get selected by any company. So for that, that's where competitive programming comes to the field. Now there are two parts of the programming actually: development and competitive programming. Development means you are making apps or games, Android apps, etc., web apps, etc. So that comes as development. Competitive programming, on the other hand, you are given problems and you are just told to solve them. They are just like the IIT JEE of programming field. Some sample for competitive programming websites are here, such as codechef.com over here, or you can also go to Codeforces. These are the two well-known competitive programming websites in India. You can create account in any one of them or both. Actually, both are preferred mostly because in most of the places wherever you go, they ask for they ask for both of your CodeChef handle and Codeforces handle. So yeah, those are the two websites. Okay, so as for starting with programming, so I'll be using C++ mostly, and you guys can start with any languages you want: C++, Java, or C, or Python. But yeah, I prefer C++. It preference is all of your choice, all of your things, nothing to do with that. And the editor I'm going to be using this one is Sublime Text Editor because yeah, it suited me best. Open up, yeah, here you go. So just if you're a total beginner, don't worry, don't be scared by all these statements. It is just a template I'm be using for all my programs. So let me just explain quickly what is going on here. So this field over here is the main place where I write my program. This is where I'm gonna give input, and this is where I will get my output. So this is basically an environment that I set up for the and a view that I set up for competitive programming. It is better to handle. And these statements over here, this statement, what it usually does, that it takes the input from this .text file, as you can see here, .text, and writes the input in this .txt file. This is the program over here, and if I just type any code, cout hello, if I press Control B, and there I go, I got the message hello printed over here. So here I'm getting this kind of error message. It is because sometimes what happens, I will just quickly open up my task manager. What happens is that you have one main.cpp already running in the background and you're trying to execute another main. So yeah, that's gonna cause some trouble. Right now it isn't running, so good for me. So if I just try to execute it once more, it's gonna show building for some time, and yeah, there I go. So yeah, as I was telling, let's continue from here. So first I will start with this statement over here. This statement is basically the header file. Header statements over here. Here there are basically many libraries that I can include, but yeah, bit/stdc.h, stdc++.h, it is the one that includes all the major libraries in C++. There are a couple more outside this one, but this is the one which we include most of the time. There is, if you start programming usually, then the one you're gonna face more often is this one, is IOStream. IOStream is the one that contains the basic files of the C++ program. But yeah, if you want to do math operations or string operations, you have to include every header file like math.h or else vector.h, hash include vector not .h, but yeah, hash include string and all those. But with bit/stdc++, you have all those included from before, and you can just go on doing whatever you want. Now using namespace std, what it is actually that if I don't use this statement, let me just comment it very quickly, and if I run this program right now, it's gonna give me an error. Let's see. Yeah, here I go. Cout isn't declared in this scope. What is the suggested alternative? Suggested alternative will be std, and now if I execute it, it says building, and yeah, finished. So here, in outside of every statement over here, I have to use this std because yeah, it becomes the std name. I have to include this one. So using namespace std, what it does is, using means normally in English what we say using. Namespace is an operation, or I don't think I named that right, but yeah, namespace is what we are doing with namespace is that wherever std needs to be written, we are omitting it. We are stating it right over here, that wherever we are just telling the compiler that okay, here you go, you listen to me, wherever std is written, I'm not gonna write that, I'm gonna write cout. So you just know, wherever you just handle it yourself wherever you need it. And here we have type def long as ll. What I'm doing here is, most of the competitive programming programs, they are having their input constraints as to the 10 to the power 9 or 10 to the power 14, which is more than the normal data type int can handle. So for that we need long, or sometimes long. But every time I declare a variable, I cannot write long, and it is time taking. So I just declared this one, that okay, you know what, I'm just in here making a custom keyword that long will be written as ll, and that is how my code will know that okay, if I'm gonna declare a variable over here lla, it's gonna know automatically that okay, a is a variable type of ll. So there I go. Now you're going to be thinking what is a variable, and yeah, I'm coming to that. Just wait, hold up. Now coming to this statement, int main. So main is the function that main is the function that is going to be executed, which is main is like the body of our main program, which is going to be executed by, yeah, by the compiler. So under this function we write our code, whatever we want to execute. Return 0 is the function that is for that. Main is a function which has the value integer, which is a type of integer. Now integer, any integer value must return, any integer type of function must return some value. So in that case I'm gonna return 0. Now I can do another thing, like if you are using C, make a new file. You will be using it like this: hash include stdio.h, hash include conio.h, console input output, void main, and then your code over here. So in C you can use void main because yeah, it doesn't give usually any error, but in C++ I don't know why, I exactly don't know the reason. I'm gonna, if you want I can let you know next time, that void, if I use void then the function won't execute, because I don't know, maybe because it is not supposed to return some value, because void, if the data type void defines that this function is not supposed to return any value, just execute it. So yeah, that's it for, yeah, no, I don't want to save it. So that's it for the framework, and here you go, you can just start programming now. So I'm gonna just make a simple program over here that adding two numbers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take two space separated integers as input. Now space separated integers is something that you will come across in daily life in while you are doing competitive programming. So I'm gonna show you at once what it is gonna look like. First I'm gonna declare two integers, a comma b, then c in a, and the same line c in b. So what it is going to look like, that if I give 3 space 4, then it will gonna take the variable a as 3 and variable b as 4. Oops, yeah, there I go, that is my input over there. Now I'm gonna do some processing, that int c equal to a plus b, or I can just, there are two ways of executing this, the sum of two numbers. First is int c equal to a plus b, cout c, and del. This is one way. Other way is cout a plus b and del. Now the difference between these two is that each step takes some amount of particular time. Okay, you gotta remember that. So depending on your processor speed, each of this step will take some particular amount of time. So the lesser the number of steps, the more quickly your program will get executed, which is a big factor in competitive programming. Your time complexity, which means the amount of time your program takes to execute, will be a factor in competitive programming. And also space complexity, because there is always a limit on the amount of memory you can use. Now here we are declaring another variable c, which is gonna take up some memory space, and yeah, that is a bad practice usually. So I'm gonna just delete this one, and yeah, I'm gonna just execute this one, control b, building this file, and ooh, lots of error. I know why, because it is end, not end l. Again, build it up, There you go. 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. Now you might be thinking, what is this endl? Endl means basically that, okay, you have completed executing this line, jump to the next line. You can see here that a second line was created which was not there before. So yeah, endl does that thing for us. Now if I just leave it like this with no endl, just a cout a plus b, then you will see that this second line won't be created. Control B, building it up, and yeah, there you go. Here you can see the second line is not created. The end line, endl, what it does, that it ends the line, end l. So yeah, that's it for now. Now there are many kinds of data types, as you know. There are int, float, double, long, char, string. These are the main data types that we'll be using, and there are also more kinds of data types which you can check out in the C++ pages, or you can just Google search it. How many kinds of data types are there? There are many data types. I cannot list it up. I'm just a noob. Okay, for now I'm just a noob. And here we go. So that is it for the first episode, and if you like my teaching style, please let me know down in the comments. And in the next one, I'll be taking up strings and arrays and characters, etc. Also, I'm gonna start with loops, because as I start with array, I gotta go with loops. So yeah, see you next time.